Welcome to another Todd's
2-Minute Tech Tip Tuesday.
Brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the only academy that gives you the credentials to become a certified tech and/or certified inspector. All right, so a couple weeks ago, we started off on what is it with the Suburban water heater. This week, we're going to jump into the Atwood and Dometic. So the first things that I want to go over, almost the same things, right? It's got the same features. If we look at it, all water heaters are going to, of course, be propane-based. So, of course, we have our burner assembly here, we have our flue, and we have our igniter, okay? The Dometic Atwood also, of course, has the P&T valve, the pressure and temperature valve, of course. A couple things that we want to look at that's different. The Atwood or Dometic water heater is actually an aluminum tank, whereas with the Suburban, it's steel. Because we go with aluminum, it is lighter, but secondly, it is not susceptible to corrosion. Therefore, you'll notice that there is no, where did it go? There is no anode rod. What you'll notice with the Atwood or the Dometic water heater is we actually have a plastic drain plug. Now that plastic drain plug that goes in here, the reason why it's plastic and not metal is because aluminum doesn't act well with other types of metal. So we can't mix steel with aluminum. We can't mix copper or brass. What will happen over time is there'll be corrosion that takes place and they will freeze up. So what Dometic does is they'll put a plastic drain plug in there. As a matter of fact, Dometic will also say that that's a safety device because in the event that this tank actually gets too hot, too much pressure, that freeze plug is going to break open. So you'll notice that it's plastic. And if you want to go ahead and service your water heater, you're going to get a 15/16 inch socket. 15/16 is what you use to get that drain plug out. Other than that, everything else is the same. You'll notice, though, that the profile is a little bit different. You'll notice the Dometic is not square, but more of a rectangle, whereas the Suburban is more square. They do make models to replace one another, but typically we'll see that the Atwood is more of a rectangle. The other thing that is notably different from the Dometic, from the Suburban, is the location of the heating element. On the Suburban, what we saw 2 weeks ago, the heating element was in the front. Unfortunately, on most of the Atwood Dometics, they do have a newer model, but it is on the back, located in the back. So instead of actually servicing your water heater and the heating element in the front or outside the rig, you're actually having to crawl on the floor and get to the back of it. Typically, there's going to be a plastic box because we have 120 volts there. We got to make sure that we are not leaving the 120 volts out there. So you have to crawl into your rig, find out where your water heater is in order to check your heating element. It can be done. It's not super, it's not impossible, but it is a little bit hard. And that's really the difference that we have. So the location of the circuit board is located on the front. Now on this one, we're not using it right now because of course in class we have some water heaters going on and they're actually using the circuit boards. But you can clearly see where it would go should we had an operational water heater. Now, what's something that's really cool that Atwood Dometic does that Suburban doesn't is this little fuse right here. Now, if I take this off, you will see that this is a one-time heat fuse. In other words, if this gets hot, this fuse pops and the whole system shuts down. The reason this is here is because I could have flame heat coming out of my flue tube. It could be because I've got, you know, some bugs or something like that blocking for the flow of our flame out, or it could be as we're going down the road, and this is why I say you don't travel with your propane on. There's always a flame. If you're traveling and you have that air flying through here, it could pull that flame out. Dometic knows this, and so they'll put that thermal fuse here that'll actually melt and therefore stop the operation. So one thing that's great that they do that I wish that Suburban would do is, is to go ahead and adopt that as well. And there's your tech tip. If you want to be able to fix the majority of the problems on your rig, or let's say you want to open up a business, become a certified inspector or a certified RV technician, head over to our website at NRVTA.com, click on programs, and get started today. Hey, on this section of what is this? Hey, on this section of what it is,
we gotta mention
son of a.
We're not going to mention at all that the circuit board's missing. The
Oh.
location of the circuit board.
Oh, well,
That look-
there's some, yeah, we'll just cut that. Okay, so this is so stinking interesting that people are yawning behind the camera. But it's more square, whereas with the Suburban, it might be a little bit different. Or I'm sorry, the other way around. Location of my circuit board. Hello.
Not working.
All right. Let's try it.
One more time. Hello.
Perfect. Okay.
All right. So this week on What the Hell This Is,
No, because he's going to bend over a lot on this one.
Oh my.
Forgot who I was working with.
not know. No, I'm going to be busy.
I was not prepared.